It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 7th day of July, 2020. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We have a few over 2,000 subscribers, and we get quite a few of you here on this show on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing it. We regularly post videos in all facets of the travel and cruise industry. We also have this news show 3 days a week. And I just try to keep you up in whatever's going on in the travel and cruise space. So if you're new, welcome aboard. You'll find that a lot of our folks participate in the chat throughout the whole show, and they actually get to know each other quite well from all over the place. Please, you're welcome to do that. Our friend Jason up there in Pittsburgh was the first one in the house this morning. Glad to have you with us, Jason. And let's see who's popped in since then. Gretchen's here from over in Ohio. Pete's here from London. Always good to have you with us, Pete. So we got us a nice little start this morning. I'm going to do things a little on the backward side. Well, we got a super chat this morning. That's from Jason. Thank you very much, Jason. I do appreciate that. It's always good to get those to help defray the costs of this operation. So thank you, Jason. That's very kind of you. Do appreciate it. Going to do things a little bit kind of backwards this morning for a good reason. And when I did the show last week from London last Sunday, and if those of you that might be new don't realize this, but I co-host the Cruise Amigos show on Sundays at 3 o'clock our time here in Eastern Daylight Time. It's 8 o'clock London time from London, England, with Pete and John. And our guest this past week was just a delightful, it's actually a friend of Pete's that they've known each other for years, but Julie Morgan Price, who was a dancer way back in the 80s on the Oceanic. And she's also has been on some British soap operas for years along with Pete. So they've known each other forever. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up first is because when we were talking Sunday, we asked Julie about her favorite ports of call when she was at sea way back when, and it was St. Thomas. And we haven't had a St. Thomas boat for a while, so I thought I'd make reference to that. So she loves St. Thomas of the ports that she went to back when she was dancing. But anyway, that was a delightful show. If you haven't had a chance to catch that, you really need to. We've had just such fabulous guests almost every week. And it's a wonderful hour on Sunday afternoons. So this week, we're having a top-notch show. Our guest this week is going to be Sue Bryant. If you're not familiar with Sue, she is a British travel writer, probably one of the top 10 travel writers in the world. She's published 25 travel books, some 300 articles. She's literally traveled all over the world in her travel writing career. She's also cruise editor for the Sunday Times in London. It's just a big time interview for us. So we're just tickled to have our guest this coming Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time or 8 p.m. London time. You want to put that on your calendar because that's going to be a fun hour. So, all right, the top story today has to do with our friends over at Carnival. They are having some difficulties getting stuff finished due to the whole COVID situation. Of course, that's the Mardi Gras, the artist rendering of the Mardi Gras, which was delayed in the whole construction project, and it's now been delayed even further. Carnival Cruise Line will be notifying all their guests and travel agencies or agents today on revision to the delivery of the newest ship, the Mardi Gras, and new itineraries for the Carnival Breeze and Carnival Magic due to similar delay problems with the Radiance transformation. First of all, on the Mardi Gras, which will be the first LNG-powered ship to operate in the Western Hemisphere and have a roller coaster at sea, is now hopefully will be entering into service from Port Canaveral on February the 6th, 2021. Itineraries out of Port Canaveral from November until then have been canceled. So the first several months now of the Mardi Gras are officially canceled. So we're looking at next February to get the Mardi Gras started. Now, at the same time, the Radiance, if you remember, they went in as one ship and have a complete makeover and come out and renamed the ship the Carnival Radiance, much like they did with the Sunrise 2 years ago. But it's a $200 million dry dock at Cadiz de Spain, and that was suspended this spring due to the pandemic, and Spain went on into a nationwide lockdown. So now Carnival is trying to evaluate options to complete the transformation. And from the way I understand the wording of this, they don't have a place to finish the transformation to the Radiance yet. Apparently, the Cadiz Spain either is not available now. I'm not sure the whys or wherefores on that, but the Radiance has been held off now, and they're don't even have a date for its hope for completion. But they've at this point have canceled the scheduled itineraries for the Radiance from November until April 24th. Now, because of that, 18 Carnival Breeze sailings from Fort Lauderdale are scheduled to operate November 7th to March the 7th to take up basically to cover what the Radiance was supposed to do. The Carnival Magic is also going to be used to shuffle around. So between the Magic and the Breeze, they're going to have some they're trying to cover 3 ships worth of itineraries with the 2 ships. They're going to be notifying people on changes in the sailings sometime today. So some of you that are scheduled, especially like on the Breeze, like our friend Jason is scheduled on the Breeze for October 4th. The way I'm reading things as of this morning, Jason, that is still scheduled to sail. So not 100% guarantee on that, because we still got the whole issue with the CDC and all that business. And if in fact the dates that they are suspended to now actually goes through, we don't have 100% guarantee on that. We still have the issues with, of course, the whole situation in Florida, especially on sailings from Florida ports. Because until they get a handle on things down there, I still don't see cruise ships being able to go. Because the first thing that's going to happen, you have another situation on a cruise ship like we had with the Princess cruise ships this past spring. Man, that'll kill the whole industry. So they got to be safe, and it's got to be safe for you guys as well, and us guys, me too. It's got to be safe for all of us. And that also means it's got to be safe to get to the boat to get on it. I have complete faith in the cruise ships being safe once we get there, but we got to go through hell to get on the boat. That's the problem. And right now, that's what Florida is, as is Texas, if you're sailing out of Galveston, and California for Los Angeles and San Diego. It's just not a good situation. Hopefully, that's going to improve. But until it improves, I'm still wondering if the CDC is going to go along with this. But as of right now, Jason and anyone else that's scheduled on that October 4th sailing of the Breeze, it's still supposed to go. And so we got the fingers crossed for you. Because actually, I'm hoping Jason gets to go and we can do some live stream from on the Breeze. That would be fabulous if we can work that one out. But we'll see. All right, let's talk about. Not sure exactly how to handle this one because I was actually on a call this morning with two CEOs of Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. And they publicized that they were teaming up with an effort to sail again. And I thought, okay, so we're going to have some news here coming out on Norwegian and Royal Caribbean doing something to get started. So I was all excited about that and thinking, well, yeah, we'll have news for the show this morning. So both CEOs were together on this call and did some interviews with the big time guys, not a little guy like me. But it was the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard in my life. It was more rhetoric on, oh yeah, we're just now forming a committee to decide how we're going to do this, and we got the experts and all this garbage. There was nothing. So all that news you're hearing about Royal Caribbean and Norwegian doing all this fabulous work to get things started, that's bull. They're doing that. Yeah, they got a committee. But they haven't decided anything yet. So until they decide something, they can't go to the CDC. You know, look at our friends from Bahamas Paradise. They got it all together. They put it together. They laid it out to the CDC, and they're green lighted to start cruising. What's that? The 25th of this month. Now, that's not a guarantee that they can cruise for the same reasons we just talked about on the situation in Florida. But it's done. They have their whole program laid out. There's no reason in the world why Norwegian and Royal Caribbean hasn't done the same thing. And if they have, then don't give us that crap publicity stunt that you pulled this morning. It makes the whole industry look bad, and I think that's terribly short-sighted on two big-time CEOs. Somebody ought to call them out, so I guess it's going to be me. That's my rant. I was so excited that there was going to be some good news coming out of both those two cruise lines, and it was absolutely nothing. Just a way of getting their shut up telephone. There was just a bunch of garbage. So it absolutely was nothing. Now, speaking of garbage, let's talk about some weather. Two things happened in the weather situation. One, we had this little tropical system up near Bermuda. Again, it's going to go to nowhere and be a storm. It goes out there in the Atlantic and dies. But it is the fifth named storm of the season, which is a record setter to have 5 named storms by the 7th of July. That's never happened before. And if you don't remember what they were, it was Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly. I don't even remember Dolly. And Edward, or Ed, however you pronounce Edouard or something like that. That's this one that we're talking about now. That little tropical depression to do nothing except the shipping lanes, but it's still a named storm because the wind blows 7 miles an hour or whatever the hell their requirements are to name a storm. So that's the 5th named storm. Now, on the serious side of it, folks, there's actually some weather that we're watching that we got to track a little bit. That obviously that storm is nothing except if you're out there in shipping channels, that would be southeast of Greenland and east of Newfoundland is where that thing's located now. So unless you're out there, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So this one it's a tropical depression that I'm not even sure it was named as a depression yet, but a low pressure system that came across the panhandle down there in Florida and is located now up in the center part of Georgia. And it's expected, folks, to maneuver to the east from where it is in Georgia, which is going to put it out through the coastal areas of Georgia and possibly South Carolina. And when it gets near the coast, it could pick up some warm, moist air and water and start causing some rain along the coast and some storm. And depending on how much it develops, whether it becomes, a tropical depression or a tropical system or whatever, it's not likely to become a hurricane, but still, it's one worth watching because you could get some weather down there on the coast from that. So maybe that'll keep all those people down in Myrtle Beach that are spreading COVID from being out there spreading COVID, because that's causing grief up here where I live from people that have been to Myrtle Beach in the last couple of weeks are all coming back and testing positive. Myrtle Beach is a major hotspot right now. It's been 4 months since anything happened down there in Miami as far as cruise ship sailings. So the newspaper down there published an article on all the construction projects going on at Port of Miami. And, despite everything being shut down, they are continuing to work on it. And they've got some massive construction with several new cruise terminals, cruise line headquarters being built. It's just a big time project down there at the Port of Miami. And that is continuing. Nothing's done yet. Norwegian is hoping to be open this year. Virgin is still on its current timeline to be ready by November. All the operations are coming along nicely. So if we get to cruising this year, and we get to cruising from Miami, there's going to be a lot of changes down there between Virgin and Norwegian and MSC and all kinds of Carnival. They're all massive projects down there. So Miami is definitely going to be changing. All right, pause for a second, and if I can find the button to click, I'll have a word from Scoot Around.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
Okay, I'm back. All right, there's a couple other minor stories this morning. One, and this is primarily for our friends over there in Europe and the UK, but a boy band singer what's the name of the Blues? Blue was the boy band. And this is Duncan James of the boy band Blue. Has been appointed as ambassador for a new cruise agency called Panache Cruises. And he says he's got a particular love of cruising and he's excited to be in such a position. And this apparently is a major cruise promoter that's being developed at an awful time for developing something new over there in Europe. But good luck to the folks with Panache Cruises and with, of course, Duncan James. Some of you that follow that kind of music probably are familiar with him. And that story comes from our friend Dave Monk. So just relating that one on. Yesterday, some of you might have seen on my channel that I posted a video about some new ports of call in Mexico. Video I put up yesterday. I actually was looking for adding some things on my website and kind of stumbled across this cruise for January of 22 out of San Diego. And I did several things with this one, folks. Number one, I've sailed from Los Angeles several times down on the Pacific coast of Mexico. And of course, there are three main ports down there. It's Cabo San Lucas and Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta. And anybody that's cruised from California has been to those three ports at least once. And like a lot of us, numerous times. Matter of fact, I think the Senior Frogs at Mazatlan, I think the bartenders there still know me by name, but just neither here nor there. But anyway, I tripped across this one for several reasons. One, it not only it's not a 7-day cruise like most of the Pacific Mexico cruises from Los Angeles or San Diego are. It's a 10-dayer, and it can have any combination. The dates are somewhat changes depending on the dates in January of 22, and then I think there's maybe one in April of 22. But it does have the usuals, the Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and Cabo, or some combination therein. Like maybe one of the dates they couldn't do Puerto Vallarta, so they just went to Cabo and Mazatlan. But the thing that was nice to me is it takes in some excuse me. Oh, choking. Takes in a couple ports that I've not been to. La Paz, Loreto, Topolobampo, and there's another one that's not showing on this one, Guaymas. There's 4 new ports of call in Mexico, which are all up in this area up in here. So there's some new things to possibly do on the Pacific coast of Mexico. So I'll put that up, and there's some interesting dates in January of 2022, and maybe I can make one of those. At least put it on the possibility on my calendar list. Of course, all of you know that I'm going to be going over there and doing a cruise with Pete in October of 2021. Actually, 2 cruises. We're going to do 7 days from a Greek Islands cruise and a 7-day Western Mediterranean cruise. So that's scheduled for October of 21. And goodness knows, hopefully by then everything's going to be back to normal and we'll all be cruising again. All right, let's go take a look at who all's here and if anything important is being said over here in the chats while I'm running my mouth. We went through telling everybody that's here. Gretchen says 89 today, chance of pop-up showers. Yeah, we're going to have to be a little cooler here today. It's only going to be 90. We've had 93 and 4 the last couple days. I'm going to be going out to the pool once again and continuing my lifeguard duties for leaves and maybe an occasional hummingbird or something that flies by. I sit out there a lot, swim a lot. Matter of fact, I was in the water for a couple hours. I was in the water so much yesterday that I was actually sore last night. My knee was sore. My hip was sore. Jason says he loves it in St. Thomas too, as our friend over there did. They say it's dangerous there, but I don't think so. You know, Jason, I've heard that before, how dangerous St. Thomas was. And I've been to St. Thomas, 4 times, maybe 5 times. And I never noticed anything bad about it. I like St. Thomas. A couple of nice bars that I went to in St. Thomas. Had a couple of nice meals. I've never done a whole lot of excursions, excursions around there. I usually go someplace and do a little of the local scenery and find a nice bar on the beach someplace or something for a while. And I never had any troubles in St. Thomas either. So Gretchen said she spent a week there in the 90s. Awesome. Amy's with us. Hello, Amy. Happy Tuesday. Emily's with us from up in New York. Hello, Emily. Glad to have you with us. Of course, everybody passing the greetings back and forth. Oh, that's just great. Jason says, how's the masking situation in New York? Emily says, good, thank you. It's working here in New York, all jokes aside. Yes, they do a pretty good job up there. And again, I try not to make political statements, folks, but look at what New York was in the early goings of this and what it is today. And thankfully for New Yorkers, they've done a remarkable job. They're getting things open and so far safely opening, as opposed to what we're seeing in Florida and Arizona and Texas, even in California. So, I mean, there's several Republican states and the Democratic states. So I'm not pointing the finger at any one side, folks. I'm just looking at the overall numbers, and they're not good in those areas right now. So let's see. Can dogs get COVID-19? That's a good question. Gretchen says, I think yes. That one's is debatable. There are some cases of animal sickness, but I don't recall it's a specific one on a dog. But I have seen it on some cats. I've seen it on some other animals. I don't know for sure, and it's just probably one of those things that they don't know for sure yet. If you're asking a serious question, Jason, by the way. Jason says, I don't want my pup to get sick. I need to get a mask for my dog. Yeah, well, the mask for the dog's probably not going to make a whole lot of difference. But it sure will for humans. I saw another thing, somebody complaining about mask usage. Yesterday, I think it was. And they were talking about the fact that Dr. Fauci at one time says that masks were not important in the overall appearance. You go back and look at when he said that, it was like way back on a whole another situation, not even COVID. And we've learned a lot about COVID, which obviously has changed the opinions of the health and medical experts as we get into this. So Gretchen says some summers hard on a lot of dogs. My Frenchie can't breathe now. Yeah, the hot weather's tough on dogs. That's that happens a lot. So Emily says it'll be interesting to use my dry pack camera for camera when I go out stand-up paddle boarding. I need 2 hands for that. So you got to have the cameras on your head or strapped to you somehow, Emily, which I don't have a camera that works for that. Anyway, why is that still up? I need to get rid of that stupid map. Let's see, where am I? I'm over here. I got to get rid of that. Yeah. So back over here to comments. And there's a question. Pete says a few British Isles cruises start next month with Rudegurten, and that's the first step in the UK as they sail from Portsmouth, which is near Southampton, also Liverpool, Glasgow, and Scotland. Yeah, if they get them going. By the way, Pete, I hope you can keep people from going out and getting nuts in the pubs now that your pubs are open. Because, man, over here, the people in the bars are causing a ton of problems. And now the young people, the 20 to 40 age group is the leading cases now in this thing. Because they've just gone out and they thought they were invincible, and they're getting in the bars and they're not social distancing and they're not wearing masks. And all of a sudden, the young people are now hurting as opposed to us old folks that have, smartened up and stay inside and, stay away from everybody. Jason says, where's Tom Henry? Tom's down in Port Canaveral. I don't know what Tom was doing today. I haven't seen him this morning. But as far as I know, he's still down in Port Canaveral, Jason. Gambling offshore in Florida. He did that one day on the gambling boat. Emily says she saw Tom last night on Bruce's Traveling with Bruce. Yeah, he's usually there, but I have not. I haven't seen him this morning at all, and that's unusual because he's usually like me up in the middle of the night, wandering around, and that's chances are I have seen him in there. Gretchen says no tax in Florida, no tourists, no revenue. Yeah, but I tell you what. I love Florida myself. I absolutely love it. But there's just some major problems. I'd be afraid to do anything in Florida right now. A friend of mine was supposed to go down there, and I showed her some numbers and stuff, and I said, yeah, that's maybe not the best idea to do that right now, because that situation down there is terrible. Acid is the hot spots in this nation are awful, and they've got to get better. And the only way to do it, the only thing we got right now, we got nothing else we can do except social distancing and wearing a mask and to try to protect each other as much as possible until the day comes when we've got some kind of therapeutics or vaccine, which hopefully will happen soon. They're still hoping to have something by the end of this year or early next year. And then it's going to take a while to get that out and to have, have the full efficacy that we need, but still it's going to happen. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Thursday will be normal schedule this week. And then Saturday, I will be out at the horse farm. I think probably what I'm going to do, so I don't move my whole studio out there, that's a pain in the butt. I'll probably run back into town and for the show on Saturday morning and just do the show from the studio as opposed from doing it out at the horse farm, just because it's easier for setup. And so I drive back and forth a little bit. That's okay. I don't have to be there all the time. I just have to be there to take care of the 3 dogs and a cat and the horses. So, but I'll be out there I'm actually going out there Thursday afternoon, and I'll be out there through at least through Sunday, possibly Monday. It depends on when she comes back. But so I'll be out at the horse farm, but I will be continuing with everything as normal. I will have my computer and a camera with me. If I need to go live, I can. But I'll probably for the show come back in and even if I set it up Saturday morning on a short term and get online rather quickly, as opposed to when I, usually I set this up several hours in advance. So anyway, thank you guys for being with me today. Again, put on the calendar for Sunday. That's going to be a huge show with Sue Bryan, and I really have a feeling this is going to be a good one. I'm excited about it. I hope you will be too. So mark that on your calendar for 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 8 o'clock London time. But that's going to be I think just another just outstanding show. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. As always, if you're new to this channel, we always appreciate thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little subscribe button down there, wherever it is down below. The bell notification tells you when I go live or when I get something new posted. And for that, I will continue to keep stuff going as much as I can. So that's it for today. This is the old fat travel guy. Hopefully we'll all be going on a cruise real soon. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.